Welcome to CEO Insights Asia Executive Series, Principles of Scaling. Welcome to CEO Insights Asia Executive Series, Principles of Scaling. The strongest enterprise are those that constantly evolve. It's no longer the game of how big you are, but now the game is how big your ecosystem is.
Now, but I think this really speaks volume why we're attracted to hang out with one another. Like for example, in CEO Insights Asia, I really like spending time there because I'm surrounded with like-minded people.
All right. So a quick reminder lang why we do this every 7 days. We want to install DNA principles that scale organizations. Ang key principle na gusto natin mangyari is the participants. Ang ating 14,000 participants ngayon will be able to extract a principle or an idea or an insight from this session that they can immediately execute in their day-to-day activities. Yan ang pinaka-essence of why we do this every 7 days. The idea nga is you get intensive CEO leadership education once a week, every 7 days. All right? So we are, the focus of this month is all about purpose, infusing ideas that build lasting companies. We talk about world-class business principles, world-class business practices, and world-class business people. Just a quick overview of what we've discussed so far for the month of January. Week 1, we talked about the game changer, how to turn your company into one that disrupts and changes your industry or the landscape where your business is in. Week 2, we talk about the learning nexus, how to be a learning organization. Last week, we talked about the innovation network. Shout out nga pala. I was in a different location last week. Nasa Cavite tayo. Enjoy natin yung pa-hotel ng ating client partner na si Seller Sub. Seller Sub team ay nandito. Ayan, kaway-kaway naman dyan. Isang chat naman. Ayan. Ayan. Ang bilis mag-chat. Ayan. So yeah, we talked about the innovation network last week. How do you turn your enterprise into an invention factory? And today, we'll talk about the Leadership Accelerator. How to turn your organization into a leadership factory. Exciting, right? So before we proceed, a few announcements. Again, if you missed any episode, that's okay because you can watch the live replay in our YouTube channel at saka sa Bounce Back Network. It's shown every Saturday at 8 p.m. Ang ating one of our founding companies of CEO Insight is Bounce Back. So pinapalabas ito roon. If you're on work, at work and you're doing something, you can't watch the video, you can listen to our Spotify platform, sa ating Facebook pages, CEO Insights and Bounce Back, at the same time sa Google Podcast. Yan. So all the episodes are there. Try to catch up. I love a practice na ginagawa ni Gramworth. I'm not sure if she's here, si CEO, si Mel. What she does after listening to one of our episodes is she mandated her team. Sabi niya, watch the previous episode and then we'll meet once a week to discuss. So ganun na yung ganun na yung I think that's her takeaway from the learning organization. So she discusses the previous videos, inire-require niya yung mga team niya to watch or listen, and then they will discuss it once a week. All right. Another announcement is that our CEO Circle happens every Tuesday at 11 a.m. So we have 2 CEO circles that are up and running right now for the women entrepreneurs. Ayan, our CEO circle is being led by our managing partner, si Bianca V. Angeles. So she's working with the other CEOs. And then for the men, ayan, sa mga lalaki, mga tunay na lalaki, si Errol Gintu, the CEO, founder and CEO of Romano Essentials, is leading the men's group. No? Now, anong difference silang dalawa? Principles of Scaling every Friday at 10 a.m. is all about instruction of the principal. But the CEO circle, since it's much more intimate, that's where the intensive discussion happens. Doon talaga nagkakaroon ng idea exchange and you're learning with fellow CEOs how to install the principle in your organization. So yan. So for the men, if you're not yet part of a CEO circle, message me, message si Keril who's here, si Bianca, just message me and then we'll plug you into a CEO circle. It takes about an hour or so lang naman. Ayan. All right. Okay, and diretso na tayo sa agenda. So ano ba mga pag-uusapan natin ngayon? I'm very excited about our topic for today. So as always, we do a discussion starter. So nag-start tayo sa isang discussion, a question. May mga kinontrata na uli ako na sasagot ng mga katanungan. And then we'll define what leadership means. Kasi ang challenge is mahirap i-accelerate ang isang bagay na hindi natin alam kung ano ba talagang ibig sabihin nun. So mag-align muna tayo what we mean about leadership and then why it matters. Why leadership matters. And then let's talk about what we mean when we say Leadership Accelerator. Okay, and then let's discuss also why it matters, why leadership accelerators matter, and let's get practical. Right. So if you're ready to engage na in our webcast, kindly chat, "Hi, I'm from ganito, my name is ganito, and I'm from what company," para may konti tayong activity. Ayan. Sige, let me see kung sino-sino ang mga sasagot. "Hi, my name is ganito." Ayan. O yun. Alright, sige. So, first question to get the ball rolling, what is your definition of leadership and why does it matter? Okay, so I will be asking yung nasa screen ko, si Princess. Ayan. May mga kinontrata tayo. So, Princess, floor is yours, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Narinig niyo naman ako, sir, right?
Klaro tayo, klaro, ma'am.
Alright. So, good morning sa lahat. Sorry sa speaking voice. Medyo husky pa. And anyways, what was your definition for leadership? Well, para sa akin, sir, and para sa lahat, my definition of leadership is about empowering others to achieve things that they think they impossible to do, ano. It's from Simon Sinek, ano. Isa din kasi siya sa mga bumubulong sa tenga ko lately.
Power sa sagot, ah. Speech talaga. Sige. Okay. Why does it matter?
Hindi kita papahaya dito. So, importante ang leadership. Bakit? Kasi sa isang organization, it doesn't matter kung anong role mo. Pero if there's this someone na may leadership doon, sapat na yun to set the course of goal para dun sa buong team. And he or she is the one who take in charge, those who in charge. No? So para sa akin, it's very important.
Ayos. Sige. Okay, yung next na kinontrata ko, si Mika Clemente. Okay. What is your definition of leadership and why does it matter?
Okay, so, okay, personally, for me, leadership is having the power to empower. Ganun siya. To empower others to be the best leader that they can potentially become. So, why does this matter? I think it matters because this principle reminds us that there's always a room for improvement, even for the best leaders. Kasi no one is born a leader. Nobody stays as a leader, and but everyone with time, grit, purpose, and all that can be a leader someday. That would be all, sir, pa.
Alam ko mga to.
Sabi niyo, sir, galingan, pang Miss Universe to.
Sige. All right. Last one, I believe it was Mel of Gramworth. Are you here?
Yes, sir, pa. I'm here now. Well, yeah, ang ganda ng mga sinabi nila. I all agree that that's leadership. But for me also, I want to say that leadership is something na inevitable ability. Akala parang minsan iniisip natin ang laki nung parang pag leadership parang bongga agad ganyan, malaki ganyan. But then come to think of it, every day we see leadership in some way, no? in a way or in a form na we lead something, maybe kahit ang sarili natin to do something or to be something, and it matters because you can't live without it. Yeah. parang ganon. It's hindi natin siya dapat tingnan as something na nakaka-intimidate. It's something that we should exercise more often and get used to it. Tapos we'll get better and better. And then lalaki lang. Parang ganon, lumalaki lang yung nasasakupan natin, pero it all starts with something and innate siya, nasa atin yan. Yung leadership is with everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Grabe naman. Nagkontrata lang ako na talagang si Simon Sinek na quote and kung sino pa. Sabi ko, I mean, this is really good. This is getting interesting as the week goes by, no? Anyway, so I guess that's if you listen to the answers of the women na sa atin, no, na sumagot about their definition of leadership, you will see there are some similarities, there's a common thread, but at the same time there are differences. And I believe that's the challenge of leadership and its beauty as well. Because leadership is multifaceted. I believe it's being unfair if you coin down the word leadership into one standard statement. Kasi even the experts are unable to come up with hindi nga sila mag-agree kung ano ba difference ng leadership at saka management and so on and so forth. Ano ba talaga ang definition ng leadership? So ang daming definition. I'm not gonna intend to make my own definition, no? So what I decided, sabi ko, instead of coming up with a definition on my end, why not ask what people say about leadership, lalo na yung mga experts, no? So I ask or I research about 3 people, those who have influenced me a lot. So the first one, his name is defining leadership. His name is Hemel. Okay, so he's not well known, but in the mainstream, kasi he's the original CEO whisperer. Okay, he is the one who whispers to the ears of the CEO on what to do. He is a London Business School professor. He's an author. He's a management innovator. He is ranked by Fortune magazine as the #1 thinker in business strategy. And he said that leadership is the technology of human accomplishment. Parang ang sakit sa ulo, parang Gary. Itsura pa lang mukhang genius na. And then he has this definition. Sabi ko, what does he mean when we talk about technology of human accomplishment? Okay, so I'm talking to you right now, even though we're miles away apart, no? And I'm using the technology of laptop and the technology of internet to make it happen. So technology is simply a tool that you use to get something done. Yes? Agree? Okay, so having said that, leadership is a technology. It is a tool to get something done with and through people. Yes, ulitin ko, okay? So for Gary Hemel, the definition of leadership, it is simply a tool that people can use to get something done with and through people. Just like I need to get something done communicating with you, I will use my laptop. When it comes to human accomplishment, you want to get something through, and with people, you use leadership. For him, it is a capability. It is people. Some people are natural born leaders. You know, they have parang basketball. They are natural born basketball players, but they need to get better. They need to train also to get better. And there are some people who are not as much natural when it comes to the skill set, but they also can get better at it with proper training and practice. So that is leadership for Gary Hemel. The second guy is someone we all know, Jim Collins. And he is a student and teacher of great companies. He's the author of Good to Great, Built to Last, Great by Choice, How the Mighty Fall, Beyond Entrepreneurship. He is the guy who wakes me up at night in the middle of the night and reminds me that I need to start writing na kasi I haven't finished a book yet. Okay. So he is, kung si Gary Hemel is a CEO whisperer, this guy hunts people's dreams. Kind of what like I do with CEO. So it's his fault. Okay. So sabi niya, his definition of leadership is this one. Leadership exists when people follow you and they have the freedom not to. That's as good as it gets for me when it comes to defining leadership. Leadership is not title. Leadership is not position. Leadership is not power. Let's not mistake the two. They are two different things. Leadership is not authority. Leadership is people choosing to follow us when they're free not to. That's the essence of it. Power is like I point a gun at you and I ask you to do something. That's power, and I only have the power because I have the gun and it's loaded and it's pointed at you. But if I take that off, there's no more power, diba? There's no leadership there kasi you're not gonna do what I want to do. I want you to do. So leadership exists when people follow you when they have the freedom not to. So one is technology, one is a choice, and probably the best definition of leadership for me, I encountered a book entitled Eyewitness to Power. So this is David Gergen. And David Gergen is a CNN anchor. He's a Harvard business professor. Public leadership siya. And he is, what he's much known for is being an advisor of 4 US presidents. Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton. So I think when it comes to leadership, this guy has, a thing or two. Kasi kaya ang untitled ng book niya ay Eyewitness to Power. He was able to see firsthand, how leadership works in the most powerful chair in the world for now. No? So ito ang definition niya ng leadership. Leadership is not the ordering, but inspiring others to work together in pursuit of shared goals. And ang maganda rito is he combined the two yung kay Gary Hemel. You see the thread, Gary Hemel, Jim Collins. Leadership is not the ordering, it's not authority, it's not power, but it is an inspiration. It is a choice that others give to us to work together. It's one thing for people to work with us because we're okay to work with. It's another skill set to help people or to encourage people or inspire people to work together despite their differences in background, differences in personality. That's another skill set. And then there's a pursuit, of shared goals. There's an accomplishment. So that's Gary Hemel, the accomplishment, and that's Jim Collins, the inspiration, the choice to follow people even when they have the freedom not to. So leadership, that for us and using that, let's talk about why leadership matters. Okay? So we have an understanding of leadership. It's a choice people make. It gets stuff done. It involves working with people. So why does it matter? Well, leadership matters kasi ito sa akin, expectations natin for a leader. This is the only expectation that we have for our leaders is that they try hard and give their best effort. That's all we ask for them. That's it. Agree? Type agree if you agree with me. Diba? Ang importante, nagbigay ka ng effort mo, you tried hard, and you gave your best shot. Now, if you, I can't read the chat, but if you're working with me and you've worked with me for a long time, I'm being sarcastic. Because leaders are not accountable for trying hard. Leaders are accountable to deliver results. Plain and simple. We're not gonna, everybody's happy. Everybody's exhausted, everybody's tired, everybody's busy, everybody's trying so hard. And so for a leader to say, I gave my best and it didn't, nag-effort naman ako, it's not gonna count, right? Good intentions don't count when it comes to leadership. We are being paid to get stuff done, hindi to try our best. Yes. Now, welcome to CEO Insights, right? So picture this for a moment, okay? And this is where I'm coming from. Picture this for a moment. Imagine with me, I still have time. You work for a bad boss, Okay, for some, that's easy to imagine kasi right now that's your reality. But syempre wala rito 'yon. Wala sa CEO Insights 'yon. Okay? Yung mga wala sa CEO Insights, yan yung may mga bad boss. Sa CEO Insights we're good bosses here. But anyway, just for a moment imagine with me, you have an evil boss, a boss who's a bully, power tripper, make you work hard for the fun of it because they can. So you work for a company na ganon, no? So you endure it because you need work, you need to earn money. And then it's payday. So you went to the ATM, you withdrew money, and then sabi mo, this is my hard-earned money. Talagang inendure ko yung terrible boss ko para ma-earn ko tong pera na to. I want to treat myself. I want to pamper myself, reward myself naman. So you went to your favorite fast food, let's say for example, Zark's Burgers. Sorry, Zark. Okay, example lang to. You went to Zark's Burgers, you ordered the Jawbreaker. Parang I'm gonna pamper myself. And then order ka ng burger, fries, and drinks. And then you paid the money, your hard-earned money, you paid it. And then the food came, the Jawbreaker was there. There's no fries. And there's drink. And then you ask, Miss, wala yung fries ko. And then the waiter or the waitress would say, Sir, pasensya na ha, kasi we tried so hard to get you a fries eh. Nag-effort naman kami, talagang nag-overtime pa nga yung cook ko para lang magawa yon. Kaya lang wala talaga eh. How would you respond? Okay lang yun, naintindihan ko naman, importante sa akin, nag-effort ka eh. Maybe that's your response. But for me, and I believe you'll agree with me. You would say, I don't care. I paid for this. Diba? I paid for this. I need to get what I paid for. I didn't pay you for effort. I paid you for fries. I paid you for burger. I paid you for drinks. So that's the mentality when it comes to our hard-earned money. Now, let's go back to being a CEO, an employer. Balik rin naman natin. I was talking to Darius last night and we're talking about investments and we had a conversation about a company who's asking for investment of 50 million. And sabi nga sa akin ni Darius, if I'm gonna pump 50 million in your company, hindi pwedeng, well, I missed my numbers, I didn't hit my target, pasensya na. I tried my best, hindi, it's not gonna fly. That's 50 million we're talking about. Diba? So, my point is, if we are in a position of leadership, we are being paid to get stuff done. Or even though if you're the owner, na you're paying someone to get stuff done. So if someone is not delivering the results, you're paying them. So it's not about being a power tripper. It's about being fair. If I paid for this is what I expect to get. Yes, okay. Sabi fish oil ko, na blood na naman ako. Drink Foligo. Yan, si Grammar, may Foligo yan para bumaba ang BP nyo. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Now, if leadership is not about trying hard, it's not about good intentions, they are good, but they don't count. Ultimately, results alone matter. If you can do it with less effort, by all means, please tell me how to do that. Because I want to do that. But we cannot make it as an excuse na, nag-effort naman ako eh. I did my best. It's not gonna fly, At least if you want to get stuff done. Right? So as leaders, we're accountable for delivering results. How do we get that? Okay? By executing the strategy. Okay? Because if this is the result that we're expected to deliver, we have to decide what kind of strategy we're going to execute, yung best strategy to get the job done. Yes? So getting the job done requires executing a strategy. So how do we execute a strategy? We, as leaders, build the culture. Okay? Kasi culture eats strategy for breakfast. What do you mean by this? Kahit pa gaano kaganda ang strategy, so we as leaders, we're accountable for results. To get the result, we need to execute a great strategy. And to execute a great strategy, we have to have a great culture. That's why we need to build a culture. Kasi kahit pa gaano kaganda ang strategy, tawagin mo pa yung pinakamagagaling na consultant to help you design the strategy. If the culture of the organization is a sloppy execution culture, it doesn't matter, di ba? Ang ganda ng plano. May mga kaibigan tayo, di ba? Ganda ng plano. So wala nangyayari. Because of the culture, the values of the people. Okay? So, we as leaders must execute the strategy, must build the culture. And how do we build the culture? We as leaders select the right people, select the talent. Okay? Why? Because an organization eventually becomes the people it hires. So if we want to have a great culture, we need to hire great people. If we want to execute a great strategy, we need to have a great culture. To have a great culture, we need to have great people. Because you can't build a great culture with, bad people or the wrong people. So this is why leadership matters. Leaders are accountable for results. They execute strategy. They build the culture. And to build the culture, they select the right people, the right talent. But I can summarize all this in why leadership matters using 2 words. This is the 2 word. But before that pala, this is the holy trinity rather of delivering results. So for you to easily understand and picture what I'm trying to communicate, screenshot nyo na to. Leaders decide or select the talent to get results. You build the culture and execute the strategy. That's how we deliver results. So in summarizing it, leaders decide. They are the decision makers. And if you're a leader, you are already in a position of decision, and not making a decision is already a decision. You chose not to decide. Leaders decide what kind of people they want to bring in to their company. Leaders decide what kind of behavior, what kind of culture they want to build. And I remember this. I was talking to this guy last night, si Paul Hilario of Labor, and I remember distinctively, we had this Mancom session Monday morning. We do that every Monday at 10 a.m. And he was talking about the leadership DNA of a Labor manager. And he said something I will never forget. Sabi niya, if you're a leader and something is not happening that is supposed to be happening, or vice versa, something that's not supposed to be happening is happening, then it's a leadership problem. Because leaders get the behavior they create and tolerate. Now, be careful what you tolerate, because what you tolerate becomes your standard. Okay? So, leaders get the behavior. If something is not working, and a leader just stands by and not makes a decision about what to do with it, that already is a decision not to do anything about it. So leaders decide. And here's the thing, when leaders make a decision, leaders are the owners of the outcome of that decision. We as leaders choose what to do. We can control that. But we cannot control the outcome of the choice that we make. Yes? Agree? So, if we make a decision, we have to own it. Yung magiging outcome nito. If it's good, diba? We own it. If it's bad, we own it. We don't point fingers, we don't blame, we don't make excuses, because if we do that, we're not we're a weak leader. And when you have a great strategy but a weak leader, you get sloppy execution and weak organization. And a weak organization doesn't get results. That's why leadership matters. Because leaders get the job done. Leaders deliver. Yes? So far, so good. Okay. Ayos pa ba? Please type so good if you are still with me, with our 20,000 participants in this webcast. Okay. So, there. Okay, now, ito lang yung simple formula natin when it comes to leadership. Better leadership decisions equals better outcome. That's it. So we need to get better in making our decisions. So with that, I want to make it personal. But why am I so invested with this one? Why am I so invested in leadership? It's because simply this. I benefit in its presence and I'm a victim of its absence. Without leadership, and I'm working with a lot of people, and I am working with a lot of people who has people reporting to them, who has people under their care. And if I sense leadership in this person, ang sarap ng tulog ko eh. Parang, kasi I know things will get done. Parang, si ano nandyan, okay, he has leadership. Okay, tulog na ako. I can sleep well. Contrast that if I know I'm working with a weak leader. Iniisip ko, nangyari ba yung dapat mangyari? Paano kaya ito? No? Ano kaya sasabihin ko rito? That's the and ayoko mapuyat, 'di ba? Alas 3 ng madaling araw magigising ka, nag-iisip ka parang nangyari ba 'to? Can I depend on this person? And so on and so forth. That's why I'm very much vested in when it comes to leadership. It's because I'm personally affected by it, by its presence. I benefit from it, and its absence, I'm a victim of it in its absence. No? Okay. So with that, we now shift gears. Diba? So malinaw na leadership matters because leaders get the job done and they have a certain set of things that they need to do to get the job done. Let's talk now about how to accelerate that. Okay? But first, let's define what do we mean when we say your enterprise, your company is a leadership accelerator. An enterprise, a leadership accelerator is an enterprise people go to accelerate their leadership capability. So imagine this, that you have this reputation na I want to grow my leadership skills. I want to go to that company. Okay? I'm gonna look at the first side of the coin muna. No? But imagine that, no? That you have a reputation of a talent multiplier. That whenever people go to you, they go out better. That's your company. That's a good thing. Because if that's the reputation you have in the outside world, clients will come to you, customers will come to you. They trust you because strong ang leadership dito. It's leaders across all levels. So across all levels, things are getting done, And so I want to keep having business with this company. So that's the outside view. The inside view is this. It matters because leadership accelerator, your enterprise, when it becomes a leadership accelerator, it creates people who make quality decisions, right? So if you become a leadership accelerator as an enterprise, you now begin to create people who can make quality decisions. And going back to the formula, the more quality decision makers are inside an organization, hindi lang nakasalalay sa CEO, hindi lang nakasalalay sa leader, the faster great ideas are discovered and implemented, and destructive problems are identified and corrected. People inside your organization don't need your permission anymore to make decisions because they're already quality decision makers. They can decide, this is a good idea, let's try it out. Okay? This helps the company, let's try it out. Oh, this is a problem, let's label it, let's decide to label it as a problem, let's not sugarcoat it. And now, so that, not to point fingers and point blame, but so that we can solve it. First to know, first to act. The faster a problem gets identified, the faster a problem gets corrected. Yes? Okay, moving on. Okay, so let's get practical. Ayan. How do we transition into a leadership accelerator? How do we do that? 3 things lang, 3 M's, at madali itong tandaan because this is the core values of CEO Insights Asia. And then later we'll wrap it all around into one concept. So be missional. Okay. As an enterprise, as a company, your company, if you want to become a leadership accelerator, be missional. Put purpose over profit. And we discussed that in week 1, being a game changer. Why is that? Okay? Because I, as a person, if I'm working with you, I will not give my best effort and my best thinking into making you rich. But why would I do that? But I will give my best effort into solving a problem that's bigger than all of us. In fact, the greatest leadership acts in history was not driven by money. Okay? Again, we're not saying money is not important. We're just saying purpose and solving a problem that a lot of people cannot solve is much more satisfying and much more important compared to just making money. That's part of the game, sure. But purpose over profit means we prioritize making this world a better place. Whether it's from Martin Luther King, and his fight against racial injustice, to Elon Musk colonizing Mars. It's not the money, it's the purpose, it's the mission to make something significant. because that accelerates leadership. Because that increases our decision making. So if this is the problem, instead of ang problem yung bottom line, paano ko ba mapapalago yung bottom line? Paano ko ba mapapalaki yung kita? Madali lang ngayon, di ba? Mag-marketing lang. Diba? But if you're thinking, how do I solve a problem that a lot of people are going to be, they're willing to pay me to solve that problem for them, then that's something that we need to focus on. Yes? Okay, so be missional. And this is one of the values of CEO Insights. We're missional. The second is be methodical. Okay, make learning systematic through development mechanisms. And we talk about this in week 2 of becoming a learning organization. Kinakailangan, if we want to be able to be a leadership accelerator, we have to be systematic. May sistema. Hindi pwedeng chapsoy kung ano lang maisipan, di ba? Ito yung training program natin. We need to decide and strategize on what the training programs will be offering. How do we develop our leaders? The development opportunities we provide to our people. So we need to be strategic in that aspect. May sistema. You don't become great, or nothing great happens by accident, chance, or dumb luck. Things become great by design. Diba? It's intentional. And I'm well known to be quoted by great by design. And I always say that. And I learned this actually from Sherlock Holmes. He said dun sa palabas niya si Robert Downey pa yon, si Robert Downey, and if you watch a Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows, he said it's by design. He said something about that nung nasa train sila. And sabi ko, that's true. You have to be, you can't rely on chance, diba? Some things are out of control for sure, but at least we want to maximize our chance of building something great by installing systems and mechanisms. Si Steve C was here 2 weeks back, and he said, losers have goals, winners have systems. May proseso, may sistema, may mekanismo. So that it's scalable, right? So please type great by design if you are still with me, or ayan, mga 21,000 na participants natin dito sa webcast. Ayan. And last but not least, be missional, put purpose over profit, be methodical, be systematic in the choices of training programs we're offering inside our organization to develop our leaders. And last but not the least, multiply. Be a multiplier. And by being a multiplier, meaning provide opportunities for people to make and own decisions. Give them an opportunity to decide. At first, you have to be micromanager for sure. But eventually, you have to let go and give the pen back to them. Ikaw, sa'yo to eh. If you keep coming to me to solve the problem for you, diba? I don't need you. I'm gonna solve it on my own. Kaya ka nga nandyan eh, for you to decide. And if you make a decision, you own that outcome. We have to provide, as leaders, as CEOs, as managing partners, we have to provide a platform where they can exercise decision-making skills, because that's how they get better. They get better when they are given the opportunity to make leadership decisions. It's like a muscle. You want to, the more you exercise decision-making skills, the stronger it gets. Okay? So as leaders, for us to be able to multiply, we can't make all, not only should we make all the decisions, we can't. Parang lahat, ikaw lang yung brain, diba? Parang lahat na lang tatanong sa atin, parang anong gagawin ko? Parang really? Parang you're a grown man, you're a grown woman, diba? Parang you live your life for how many years without me? You were able to do that. Bakit ngayon nakadepende tayo, diba? Nakadepende ka sa akin. So we want to give them an opportunity to make decisions on their own and own the results of that decision, because that's how we get better. Yes? So far so good? All right. Okay. So in closing, I will end with this and leave with a question and then open the floor for conversation. So here's my closing story. About 2 days ago, we had the investors table, the Ateneo intellectual property office were pitching their product. It's a great product. Maximizes some motorcycle. It maximizes the mileage and minimizes the gas consumption. So it's a great product. And they were pitching sa investors table. And this is si Rowena, nasa Italy pa siya, and she was presenting it. And during that conversation, sabi ni Rowena, she decided that they will be establishing the business in the UK. Or not, basta not here. I can't remember exactly where it is, but in the UK. And then ang sabi niya is, kasi we have a great product, pero pag sinabi mong, ay, gawang Pilipino, made in the Philippines, parang, ay, gawang Marikina, yung ganun. Parang, pag made in China ang cellphone at made in the Philippines, parang most of us will choose made in China. Kahit made in China yan, diba? It's far superior than what we have. At least that's a stereotype. And it hit me. Because that is so true. Diba? I mean, that's my holy discontent, if I may say. No? Yun yung kinakainis ko na bakit ganon? Bakit ganon yung perspective natin? Not only us as Filipinos, but also the world views us. It's a hard truth. It hurts, but it's the truth. I can't think of a company where we can say itatapat natin sa Singapore companies or sa US, no. So when she said that awakened in me the vision of CEO Insights Asia. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're doing this. We want to build organizations that are part of the CEO ecosystem, the 2,100 and the 160 na nasa database natin. When you become part of CEO Insights, you become part of a movement that accelerates your small, medium enterprise or startup into something that is competitive on a global landscape. Yun yung desire na ginagawa natin. And how do we do that? We act first and foremost as a learning nexus. That's why you get intensive CEO leadership education every 7 days. Minamaximize ito ng mga participants natin. You get the Spotify if you're too busy every Friday. You get to listen to this. You have intensive CEO circles where discussions are there. What else? You have Builders Night. We get Steve C. I'm in conversation with hindi pa nagre-reply, no? Hopefully, makuha natin si Kim Lato of Kim Store. We're in conversation with her. Si Zark Varona, we're in conversation with him. Si Tito J, dito ba? Si Tito J, no? May mga kausap din siya. We're trying to get all the best, the movers and shakers in the business landscape to teach us how to get better, who's been there, who's done that, to teach us how they were able to build their enterprise so that we can apply it in our organization. So we act as a learning nexus dito sa CEO Insights. The second is we act as an innovation network. You get CEOs of different backgrounds, different industries, swapping ideas, exchanging perspectives, and then innovation happens. A lot of partnerships have been birthed already when you become part of CEO Insights. And last but not the least, we serve as a leadership accelerator. Yun ang endgame natin. We want you to get better as a CEO. That's why we built this ecosystem. Yes? All right. So, for you to, ang ending kasi natin, for you to better appreciate it, is we want to be the game changer. We want to be an ecosystem that disrupts the industry we are in. We want to catalyze change in the business landscape na ang manggagaling sa CEO Insights, this is the go-to ecosystem for you to become globally competitive. Kahit small, medium enterprise yan. You don't have to be big to be irreplaceable. Actually ngayon, mas maganda nga maliit eh. Diba? The world became flat. Diba? Mas mabilis tayong mga kilos. Yeah. So, our heart, kami ni Tito J, mga founders nito, si BK, our heart is really into the small, medium enterprise and startups. We want to help them start right. We want to help you start right. That's why we built this ecosystem. Right? So for you to better appreciate it, let's put a picture. So ito yung CEO Insights ecosystem. Yan. And then we get the world-class business principles. We get world-class business practices. We get world-class business people. The Steve C's, the Jason De La Rosa of Bounce Back, yan, the Paulo Hilario, the BK Rivera, the Jomag, the Kim Store, the Zark Varona, the Gian Havelona. We want to get them and extract their business principles and infuse that in the ecosystem. And then after that, the people, the CEOs inside the ecosystem will be able to take home the principles that they get and execute it in their company A, in their own companies, company B and company C, and so on. So that's why this platform exists. You want to get better as a leader. People say it's MBA on steroids once every 7 days. So that's the picture. Please screenshot nyo na nating mangyari. Kaya ginagawa natin to every Friday. So with that, this is our firm belief. Okay? This is what we believe to the core of our being. We believe that the fastest way to build great enterprise is for its leaders to build it themselves. And CEO Insights exists to help you do that. We're here. We're not going anywhere. You want to get better every 7 days, join this webcast. Join a CEO circle. Get to learn and exchange practices with fellow CEOs, because we get better with learning with fellow CEOs, and apply that every 7 days. And it doesn't cost you anything. If it's not, it's time. Just show up, and be part of the movement. So I leave this topic, this segment, with a question, and then I'll open the floor for conversation. So what key insight made you think deeply, and what key action are you going to do this week to turn your business into a leadership accelerator? All right.